Hi, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Judith Patterson. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Texas, and today I'm going to show you how to create a couple of cards from the catalog using Sit, Stay, Relax. This set is one of the Host stamp sets from the 2022 to 2023 annual catalog. It's super cute with the little puppy sitting on the chair and the cats hanging out, and there's a lot of fun things that you can do with this. So I'll be featuring this on my blog as well. I'll have another video on Friday for this one and several cards throughout the week over on my blog if you want to see more. And to get this set, you do have to either host a party where the sales reach $150, and then you can choose it to spend your host rewards on, or if you just want to make a personal order that reaches $150 or get together with a friend and go in and do that together, then you could do that way as well. But then you just use your host rewards, and these are at a discounted price in the catalog. Okay, so let's flip this camera around and take a look here at this set in the catalog and the cards that we're going to be casing. So the only card that I could find that uses the Sit, Stay, Relax stamp set is this one here. So I will be making this card, but I'm changing up basically the color scheme. And then I'm also going to use this card layout here to make another just very simple card. Pretty simple card. I am going to do the heat embossing. And I did use different stamp sets for the sentiments on each of these. So I'll share those with you as well. And then down here, this is talking about host rewards, and all of the stamp sets and this Fun Designer Series paper, these are all host rewards. So if you're interested in that, it's on page 179. Alright, let's stamp. I almost forgot to get my handy dandy grid paper out. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and start stamping. So I have 3 pieces of basic white cardstock here, and the 2 inks I'm using are Shaded Spruce and Cherry Cobbler, and then I'm also going to use the Light Pumpkin Pie and the Light Smoky Slate to color the cats sitting on the chairs. So I'm going to use Shaded Spruce to stamp the chairs with the cats in them. So this largest piece of basic white cardstock is 3 1/4 inches by 3 1/4 inches. I just wanted to make sure I had plenty of room for my large circle from Stylish Shapes Dies. The second piece of basic white cardstock is 2 3/4 inch. Actually, this one you can do 2 inches and 3/4 inch. I don't know why I'm having a hard time with that right now. By 3 1/4 inches is how big this piece is, but you can do 2 3/4 squared. This is just a piece I had lying around, so instead of cutting something new, I just went with what I had. Okay, and then the sentiment says, "A very Merry Christmas to you." And it comes from Vintage Christmas. You can see that here. I have used this set as a stamp set of the week in the past. It's a great little stamp set. It coordinates with the bottle punch from the annual catalog, but the stamp set itself is in the 2022 July to December mini catalog. Okay, so I'm going to set all of this to the side and move that grid paper so I can pull out my handy dandy mini stamp cut and emboss machine. So when I use this machine, I always make sure that I stagger the ends of my plates. I don't want them lined up precisely like I do my big one. So I'm going to be cutting 3 circles, and actually 1 circle I have already cut. So I'm using the Stylish Shapes dies, and I'm starting with the second smallest circle. And this is the Rose Gold Designer Series paper from Gold and Rose, not Designer Series paper, it's specialty paper. It's from Gold and Rose Gold 6x6 metallic specialty paper. And my words are just not wanting to come out my mouth right today. Kind of tripping all over them. Okay, so this is thick paper, so you just kind of have to pop that out of there. Alright, my next one is that one that I was telling you I've already cut out. So I used this, nope, I used the next one up. I used the third largest circle die to cut this piece. And then I'm using the second largest circle die to cut this largest piece. And this piece of paper, I wanted you to see, this is a scrap that I had lying around. And it's not quite big enough to do the full circle. But since a lot of this circle is going to be covered up, that's perfectly okay. I'll just hide this edge that's not a perfect circle. And in fact, all of these rose gold pieces, you can use scraps and have one edge that is just not quite right, because it will be hidden. Okay, so now I'm going to use this same circle to cut out the cat in the diamond chair. Okay, so there's that one. Then I'll use that largest circle to cut out the chair, the leaf chair. Ooh, I didn't have that aimed quite right. I was moving my camera. Okay, and then for the sentiment, I am going to use that third smallest circle again. I say again, I actually haven't used this size, and that's wrong. I'm going to use the second smallest. I was going to use the third one, but my scrap is not as big as I thought it was, so I had to go down a size, which is totally okay. So I decided to go with shaded spruce. Trying to decide which side I liked better. I'm going to go with this one. I decided to use a shaded spruce card base. This is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and then I scored it at 4.25 inches. And of course, all of these dimensions will be over on my blog, judithpatterson.net. You can see it in the description below. You can go straight to the link, or I'll have it up at the end of this video. Okay, so I'm going to start by taking this larger circle. I'm going to use my liquid glue. I'm just going to put it down here in the corner, making sure that that edge is towards the center where it will be covered up. This one, this middle size, I'm going to bring up here, and it will go about like that. And then this one over here, bring pretty close to this edge over here. Okay, so then I'm going to start by adding dimensionals to the back of this largest circle. Went with my mama last week and got my nails dipped at the salon, which I have not done in a very, very long time. And even though it's just nail polish, it's kind of thick because it's that powdery stuff that they put on there. And I have realized it makes it a little bit more difficult to do things like peel the backs off of my dimensionals. But thank goodness for my Take Your Pick tool, because it makes it really, really easy. Okay, so this one I need to be careful because I don't want to put a dimensional right here. So I'm just going to turn that over, put one at the top, put one at the bottom. Of course, I'll put one in the middle, and then one over on this side. And then for this other side, I'm going to just add a little bit of liquid glue. Really not a lot. Then I'm going to put that right there. Okay, for this next one, so it's a little smaller than I had intended. That's okay. But what I want to do is tie a little bow with linen thread and put it behind the circle. So I'm just going to add a little bit of glue right there. I'm going to take my linen thread and just tie a bow right from the spool. I'm not going to cut it beforehand. See how that looks. Okay, so that looks good. It's going to be poking out both sides. Trim off the ends. I may trim those a little bit more once I get the rest of this put together. So I'm going to put that there. I think what I'm going to do is put my two Stampin' Dimensionals, make sure you can see that, right here towards the top. I put another dab of glue at the bottom. And then I'm going to place those, there we go. So I'm feeling like I put my dimensionals right over where the bow is. So it might have been better to have one like down here and one up there. Didn't think that one all the way through. Okay, let's just trim these ends. And there is our first card. Do you know what I'm seeing I forgot to do though? I forgot to add a little bit of color to my cats. So very carefully, I'm going to just go ahead and do that right now. So for my next card, I'm going to use a lot of these same colors. I have another piece of the rose gold metallic specialty paper, and I'm using the other half of this shaded spruce piece of cardstock for my card base. And then I'll be using the same inks. The only thing I'm not using is this, I say the only thing. So I'm not using the cherry cobbler and ink, and I'm also not going to be using this pumpkin pie Stampin' Blend. There we go. There's our first card, and here it is again in the catalog. So we just made it a little bit Christmassy. Okay, so in this card there's no die cutting, but we do have a punch, and I'm going to be using the heat tool and embossing powders. So this first piece is, again, it's that rose gold specialty metallic paper. I'm just using liquid glue to attach it straight to my card base. I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch on the left hand side. And this piece is 3.5 inches by 4.25 inches. That looks right. So then I have a piece of basic white cardstock. This is 4 3/4 inches by 2.5 inches. And I'm going to use the dog sitting in the chair and shaded spruce ink again. There we go. And so I don't forget, I'm going to go ahead and color the dog. You could leave him white if you prefer. That's totally acceptable. Okay, and then I have a piece of cherry cobbler cardstock. This is 3/4 inch by 3 inches. And I have a sentiment from Brightest Glow. It says, "To you and yours this Christmas." So I'm going to use Versamark ink to stamp that sentiment. And hopefully I even get it straight. We'll see. It might be a little crooked. I am stamping towards the left. That looks good. Now if you get the embossing kit from the mini catalog, you'll get a pair of tweezers. They won't be exactly like mine. I've had mine for decades. But I tell you what, these tweezers are super handy when you have these smaller pieces of cardstock and you're trying to heat emboss. Keeps from burning your fingers. Just want to make sure you don't have any embossing powder caught in there. There we go. Then I'm going to use my Pick a Banners punch. Banners Pick a Punch, I said that backwards, to punch this end. So I want to go ahead and put it in there to make sure I'm punching the right end. Of course, I always turn it upside down to make sure I've got it centered right where I want it. Give it a punch, and then we have a little banner. Now in the catalog, they did use both ends, so if you want to do that, you might center your sentiment up a little bit and then you could punch both sides. You may even make it maybe 1/4 inch longer. So I'm gonna flip this over and use those dimensionals again. And would you look at that? I was able to use these nails and get all that off of there after all. Okay, so I'm overlapping this just a smidge so that it's hanging off of this left side of the rose gold. But I'm centering it up pretty good other than that. Okay. Then I'm going to use dimensionals again. Okay, and then I'm going to add some champagne rhinestones. all over this thing. So let's put one here. I'm going to tuck one of these larger ones up underneath the top. I'll do a little one down here. There we go. There's our card. And then to show you again, inside the catalog, this one is the one that we were going with. And you could always add a little bit of twine or that linen thread that we used in the other card under here, as they did. Or you can just leave it like this. It's up to you. But I just love the added element that the rose gold specialty paper comes with. And like I said, this comes with gold also. I just realized whenever I sat down to create these cards that I have not been using the rose gold. I'd only been using the gold. So I wanted to change that. Thank you so much for watching my video. If there is something that you saw in this video that you would like to add to your stamping collection, all of the links are in the description below, or you can click on over to my website and shop online there at any time. If you are making orders for Christmas, be sure that you get those orders in by December 14th here in the United States, just to make sure that they get to you on time for Christmas morning. Alright, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, but would like to see more, then hit that subscription button below. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great weekend, and happy Thanksgiving.